speak about abortions, our attention is really on the person who has to perform the procedure. Lack of support for termination of pregnancy service providers is not always spoken about, and this has caused many of these qualified professionals to face judgment or work where they're finding it difficult to do so. Joining me now to shed more light on this issue, we're joined by Thembi Zulu. She is the Sexual and Reproductive Health Manager at the Department of Health. Thembi, thank you so much for joining us. Now this a specific focus came out of a recent workshop that was held, focusing on sexual and reproductive health. And you have admitted, even though you speak on behalf of the Health Department, that these professionals who are the termination of pregnancy service providers are not getting the support that they need. What are you hearing from them?
I can say they do have and they don't have, depending what kind of a support that they are looking at the facility level.
So let me ask you this. Yes. What is the support that they are receiving right now, and what is the support that they are not receiving? Put us in the picture.
The support that are receiving, if they come to their managers to ask for procurement of the things that they use to provide the service. And some service providers, they do have support of such, but some of them, they reported that they don't receive such support. And at the national level, we do support them in terms of conducting debriefing workshop, because we feel that they need such debriefing workshops in the condition that they work under.
Now, we believe one of the issues also that there still seems to be a stigma attached to the work that these kinds of professionals are doing from inside the health sector. Why is it still a problem all these years on?
If you talk about sexual and reproductive health on its own, it has a stigma attached, because we are talking about women and having sex, because once you talk about sex, it's a taboo, more especially in black women environment. And then let alone talking about abortion. So it's still a taboo to talk about those things. But then, having said that, as the department, we are working around we are working to alleviate that stigma, because we are conducting a lot of value clarification workshops, so that healthcare providers, not even those who are providing, the healthcare providers, they must understand the abortion, they must understand the act itself, who's supposed to, and then also they must understand that even if they are not providing the termination of pregnancy, but they need to support those who are providing the termination of pregnancy. Also, they need to understand that even if they are not actually providing the service in terms of emergency, they need to act and participate during the emergency, even if they are not doing the actual procedure.
Do you believe there's enough of an understanding that when a woman comes seeking help and has decided to terminate the pregnancy, that if that service is not provided in the correct fashion, that person is going to leave and try and find somebody else to do the abortion, and often in an unsafe environment? So the services being provided by these service providers is often a life-saving service as well. Do you think there's enough of an understanding in the health sector about how important the service is?
I wouldn't say it's 100%. I wouldn't say there's much information around the health sector, but then, as I'm saying, that we are busy, conducting value clarification, so that everybody must know the policy itself, what does it say, the act itself, what does it say, because, as I'm saying, that even if you are not providing the service, but if you are working, as a healthcare provider or as a healthcare worker, you need to understand this act, because even if you are not actually providing, but we have got, you ought to transfer the client where the service is being provided. You are not supposed to block the service, because in any way, once a woman decided that they want to terminate the pregnancy, and then whether you block it or not, but the woman will end up having those services. So we are teaching them that even if in that facility, even if that person, the woman come across, is not providing the service, but then they must have information on where, when and how to transfer the client to the service where it's being provided.
Now, I believe that you are working on a specific list of guidelines that can go along with the implementation of the Choice of Termination of Pregnancy Act, and it needs to find its way to Parliament. Can you give us an update of how far that is?
We have started to develop the policy, the sexual and reproductive health policy and right policy, and work on different guidelines that is attached to the overarching document, which is the policy. And I'm happy to say that those documents are on the final stage, and they are going to be presented, because in the country, before the document is being implemented, it needs to be presented to National Health Council. And then because already they are on a final draft, so we're just waiting that all those documents can be presented to National Health Council. Once it's being presented or approved to National Health Council, is then that the documents, all of them, can be presented, can be implemented. And once again is being approved from the Healthcare Council, and we are going to conduct provincial roadshows, where like we tell the provinces what is in the guideline, what are they supposed to do during those provincial roadshows.
So ongoing training and communication will be part of that, and that can obviously just help, especially also when it comes to family planning as well.
Yeah, as the department, we are not only, if I can say, promoting or talking about only abortion. And then more so, we promote most family planning contraceptives, because we believe that once a woman, before the woman can say she wants to abort the pregnancy, it means that somehow there's something that went wrong around the family planning services. So we are working so hard to improve the family planning services, so that the family planning services must be accessible to women, so that they are able to prevent unplanned, unwanted pregnancy. Because once the family planning services are available and accessible to women, we'll talk less about abortion services. Because abortion services, it will be the very last resort. That is why, as the department, we are working so hard in terms of making sure that the family planning service is available and accessible to women.
Thank you so much.
In those guidelines that we are talking about, also we have updated the guidelines of that is talking to family planning. So because the last time that we worked on the guideline for family planning, it was 2012. So many things has happened. So that is why, as the department, we felt that it is necessary that we need to update the family planning guideline. And
indeed, it is time for an update. Thank you so much, and we can wish you and your team everything of the best to that important piece of work that you're working on. That's Thembi Zulu. She's the Sexual and Reproductive Health Manager for the Department of Health.